afternoon, everyone. This is RAND. Welcome to the Global Guided Meditation Call for Wednesday, May 1, 2024, a little after 3:15 p.m. Eastern. We're having a Time for Change call tonight. I highly recommend people take note. 3 things that we should be asking ourselves is that ask yourself these 3 questions. What kind of messages am I sending out? Second one is, what kind of messages do I want to be sending out? Third one is what is the experience I'm receiving back? You know, if we get angry or something, or irritated or frustrated, and what are we sending out? We're sending out low vibrational frequency. What does that do? That affects everybody and everything around us. So this is why we ask these questions. You know, what kind of messages am I sending out? What kind of messages do I want to be sending out? And what is the experience I'm receiving back? Because it's going to come back. We all know that. When we are being love now, we honor the light in all of us. And the more we love God, which is the God that you are, the more we love the forms of God, which are all forms. Living from the soul is very much a heart center journey. It's like wherever you are. Let's say you get on a bus, and by the time you get off, you feel like you've met intimate family members that you've known your whole life. Whatever it may be, in a gathering or anything. Have you ever felt that way? You just don't care. It's like, I don't care to stop talking. I like being around this person. See, we don't know it, but we're all in love with one another. To live in your spiritual heart with the degree of openness it entails, trust in the one. And in that loving awareness, you are not as vulnerable as you would be in the ego, where you think you are separate from others. See, in the heart mind, we're in love with ourselves and everyone else. Okay? But when we're vulnerable in the ego, where we think that we are separate from others. See, it's the opposite. It's, again, it really looks like yin and yang. Most of us are what? We believe we're separate from others. Like Hafetz made a quote, how did the rose ever open its heart and give to this world all of its beauty? It felt the encouragement of light against its being. Otherwise, we all remain too frightened. Now, one might ask the question, how does one become loving awareness? Now, if you change your identification from the ego to the soul, then as you look at other people, they all appear like souls to you. You change from your head the thought of who you are to your spiritual heart, which is a different sort of awareness. Feeling directly, intuiting, loving awareness. Changing from a worldly outer identification to a spiritual inner identification. The difference between the ego-mind run being and the heart-mind run being. Concentrate on your spiritual heart, right in the middle of your chest. Keep repeating the phrase, I am loving awareness, I am loving awareness, I am loving awareness. The object of our love is love itself. It is the inner light in everyone and everything. Love is a state of being. You begin to love people because they just are. You see the mystery of the divine in form. When you live in love, you see love everywhere you look. You are literally in love with everyone you look at. When that starts to happen, as you fall in love with everyone you meet, you may think you want to collect them all. So you get one and you say, okay, let's nest. And you get furniture and drapes and you make a nest. And you go out to the supermarket and you get tofu, beer, whatever. And you look into the eyes of the person at the checkout counter. And the eyes are the windows of the soul, as we all know. So you look, and there's your beloved too. Now what are you going to do? You've already got one at home. Do you say, have you considered a ménage à trois? You have to graduate from a deprivation to an abundance model. It's abundance. It's abundant because you are it. You are radiating love wherever you go. As you become love, you walk down the street. Everyone is the most beautiful person all over again. You look and appreciate. You may meet another's eyes, and you both recognize the love. But you don't have to do anything about it. The art form of relationship is to realize that every relationship you are in, every relationship at every moment, is a vehicle for awakening love. And it's up to you. The beloved is everywhere. You quiet your mind. You let go of molds and models and thought forms. You open your heart. You let your thoughts and emotions get consumed by the moment until you become just pure patience and presence. Now you are living in the Tao. And it is with you wherever you go. This is a quote from Kaber. Don't go outside your house to see flowers. My friend, don't bother with that excursion. Inside your body there are flowers. One flower has 1,000 petals. That will do for a place to sit. Sitting there, you will have a glimpse of beauty, inside the body and out of it, before gardens and after gardens. It's a place to sit. When you and I rest together in loving awareness, we swim together in the ocean of love. Remember, it's always right here. Not out there. It's always here, now. Enter into the flow of love with a quiet mind and see all the things with love as part of yourself. Now, there is something called the wheel of illusion. Illusion. A soul takes a human birth in order to have a series of experiences through which it will awaken out of its illusion of separateness. This physical experience of being incarnated is the curriculum, and the purpose of the course to awaken us from the illusion that we are the incarnation. Spiritual practices are tools to help us accomplish these goals. You start from innocence, and you return to innocence. A sage was asked, "How long have we been on this journey?" He replied, "Imagine a mountain 3 miles wide, 3 miles high, and 3 miles long. Once every 100 years, a bird flies over the mountain, holding a silk scarf in its beak. When it brushes across the surface of the mountain, in the time it takes for the scarf to wear away the mountain, that's how long we've been doing this. We are on an inevitable course of awakening." When you understand that message deeply, it allows you to enter into your spiritual practices from a different perspective. One of patience and timelessness. You do your practice not out of a sense of duty or because you think you should, but because you know in your soul there really is nothing else you would rather do. In Sanskrit's an old written form language. It's about 5,000, 6,000, 7,000 years old or more. In Sanskrit, this is called vairagya, a state of weariness with worldly desire, where only the desire for spiritual fulfillment is left. The spiritual pull is that last desire, one that really grabs you. But that dissolves on its own because you dissolve in the person. The Tao says, Tao means way. In the end, you will be like the valley, which is the favorite resort of the way. You become receptive, become soft, become open, become attuned, become quiet. You become the ocean of love. The soul is made of love and must ever strive to return to love. It can never find rest nor happiness in other things. It must lose itself in love. In the end, all our other desires merge into the immense longing to have no barrier between us and our real beloved. Now, time, right? I think we're beginning to realize that time is an illusion placed on this planet to keep the population enslaved. Time is a box formed by thoughts of the past and future. When there is only the immediate now, when you're not dwelling in the past or anticipating the future, but you are just right here, right now. You're outside of time. Dwelling in the moment is dwelling in the soul, which is eternal presence. When we're outside of time, there's no subject or object. It's all just here, now. Now understand, when you're dwelling in the moment, you're dwelling in the soul, which is eternal presence. When you're outside of time, there's no subject or object. It's all just here. Thinking mind deals only with subject and objects. But from within, the thinking mind deals only with subject and objects. But from within here, now, you watch time go by. You are not being in time. And time goes by. You watch time go by. You are not being in time. So in this journey out of time to now here, we are leaving behind every model we have had of who we thought we were. This journey involves a transformation of our being so that our thinking mind, ours is a journey toward simplicity, toward quietness, toward a kind of joy that is not in time. In this journey out of time to now here, we are leaving behind every model we have had of who we thought we were. This journey involves a transformation of our being so that our thinking mind becomes our servant rather than our master. It's a journey that takes us from primary identification with our psyche to identification with our souls. Then to identification with God, and ultimately beyond any identification at all. Life is an incredible curriculum in which we live richly and passionately as a way of awakening to the deepest truths of our being as a soul. May the deeply eternal loving of God rest upon you. May His peace abide with you. May His presence illuminate your heart, now, forevermore. That's a Sufi prayer. And the only way we do this, all of us, is to practice. We're not going to do it one shot. Oh, I'll do this today, and I'll do it. I'll do it today. Are there benefits in creating a daily spiritual practice on the level where we are pure souls, where we are simply loving awareness? Doesn't matter. There is just being here now, living fully in the moment. There's no practice. There is only being. If you have become stable in this presence, ignore the other stuff. You're already here. On the other hand, if your mind still wanders, you may find some benefit in practicing to bring you back to yourself, to be more present, to open your heart, to learn to live from your spiritual heart. Practices are designed to put you back in touch with your true nature, the self, to polish the mirror of your mind, heart, so they truly reflect the spirit. Now, most of us are enmeshed in this world, and we get lost very easily in the stuff of life. A daily practice is very useful to keep reminding us, to keep pulling us back and waking us up again, giving us a chance to see how we got lost the day before, and to keep putting what's happening to you in this world back into a spiritual perspective. For instance, you read a little passage. Might be in the morning when you wake up. You have books next to your bed. You say, I'll just pick up one and start the day reading a passage from a holy book or a little quote from a saint. And it will just start me reminding me what the game is about. This is a game that we're all in. It's an elaborate game, but nonetheless, it is a game. You can tune to the spirit through a variety of practices. Look to each method to keep opening you in its own unique way. At the beginning, when you're trying or doing different methods, be generous with yourself. There will be a method that will fit your unique karma. When you come to a practice with a pure heart and a yearning to be free, it will reflect back the purity of your aspiration. Spiritual practice isn't a way to achieve something or to get somewhere else. You're already here. You do spiritual practices because you do spiritual practices. Right? You do spiritual practices because you do spiritual practices, nor to get to some other state, but to get in touch with who you already are, to clear the dust, so to speak, from the mirror, to come more fully into the present moment. Whether you will be free and enlightened now or in 10,000 births is not the point. What else is there to do? We can't stop doing them anyway. Once we awaken to the possibility of this universe within, it's like a gravitational force. Do not get trapped in your expectation. Spiritual practices can themselves become obstacles if you become too attached to them. Make a place. Make a place. Right? I know some people, they go, that's kind of strange. But make a sacred place. Somewhere in your home. Right? Create a quiet corner, if you haven't already done this, in your home for practice. An Om home. A launching pad to the infinite. A meditation seat. A shrine to your inmost self. Now, there's different names and meanings across this planet because eventually we will know that we're all one. There won't be separation. Like in India, worship is called puja. And a puja table or puja room is sacred space for meditation, worship, prayer, reading holy books, reflection, centering, doing a mantra or chanting. It is a place for remembering yourself, getting in touch with your guru, the God within you. Or just a source of spiritual comfort. It can be a space for doing devotional rituals or for making offerings of love, flower, incense, food, or just pure gratitude. Make this space simple and pure, perhaps with a mat, candle, some incense, a picture of a realized being you feel connected to. Could be anybody. Create a seat where you can sit comfortably with your back straight. You could literally get a meditation pillow, cushion or pad, right? Use whatever helps you to sit comfortably, bench or a chair if you need it. This is your sacred space. Make your puja table a beautiful offering that reflects what is spiritually meaningful for you. It can be in a corner of a room, in a closet, or if you have the space, in a separate room. You may wish to cover the table with a cloth, a fresh flower, an offering to your beloved. Who is that? The God that you are within the body. And this adds to the sweetness. Photos of loved ones you wish to deeply, eternally love, prayers written for family or friends who are suffering or sick may help open your heart. If you're having problems with someone, putting their picture on your puja table so that after meditating you can bring them into the light. Keep holy books nearby handy for daily use. I myself have like a chest of books that the energy that comes off of them is absolutely off the charts. The focusing and understanding. It's not a crutch, it's not a prop, it is an interaction. You can create small altars or shrines at your desk or in your computer space, on a countertop, at the entryway of your home, on the door of the refrigerator. Create a sanctuary in the garden, if you have one, at your doorstep, on the patio or deck, on the dashboard of your car. Spiritualize your life from the outside, but know the real work is within. Now, we all know that water wears away stone. So, daily, a spiritual practice will thin the veil of illusion. For starters, consider getting up a half an hour early to allow time for your spiritual practices. A lot of people say, I don't have time to do that. Remove your shoes when you approach your puja table. Invest this space with a spirit of love, reverence, devotion, and gratitude. Put some incense down. Connect with the images on your puja and settle into just being here now. I call it the now place or the now room. I had my way, I would have a separate room. And you settle into just being here now. You let go of everything other than being present in this sacred moment. And as I've mentioned, you can start your day in a conscious manner by reading a passage from a holy book, not a religious book. You can bring it to mind as an occasional reminder throughout the day. You might want to play some peaceful music or chanting, or do some singing or chanting yourself. See, these are all steps for us to focus on the here and now. We've all been directed and programmed and polished and honed to be outside of ourselves. And we've had many lifetimes doing that. There's nothing wrong with it. But you get to a stage or an understanding, and you say, I know I've had many lifetimes out there, and I've enjoyed it. It's been great. Doesn't mean I leave it. It just means that it isn't my prime focus. I am my prime focus. The God within me is my prime focus. Discovering the God within the soul is my prime focus. And that's a decision that every one of us make that. Sooner or later, we make that decision and we step into the now. Wouldn't it be interesting? Because when we're not in the now, we're suffering. And we all suffer. None of us are exempt from it. We all suffer because most of us are tricked by the ego mind into the yesterday and tomorrow. We are. I could say that with almost 100%, not quite, that everybody who wakes up in the morning is already thinking about tomorrow. Isn't that interesting? But the fun thing is that you get to the point where you check yourself. You're not judging yourself. You say, whoa, wait a minute here. What am I doing going into tomorrow? And I just now woke up into today, the now. You can see how we get so miscombobulated. We get so stretched thin. And there's so many different avenues that have been tried throughout the ages. But meditation is the basic spiritual practice for quieting the mind and getting in touch with our deeper self, the spirit. And meditation provides a deeper appreciation of the interrelatedness of all things and the part each being plays. The simple rules of this game are honesty with yourself about where you are in your life and learning and listening to hear how it is. Meditation is a way of listening more deeply so you hear how it all is from a more profound place. Meditation enhances your insight, reveals your true nature, and brings you inner peace. I had a lot of people write in and actually say pretty much this. A meditation practice is extremely useful in clearing stuff away, letting you see how your mind keeps creating your universe. The ego will keep you occupied with its endless storyline of thought forms. Just keep watching them until they dissolve. Don't participate in them. Most traditions require a regular practice in order to progress, to get ahead. On the other hand, there are traditions in which no regular practice is required, and people do fine. So I can't say it is necessary, but I certainly find it useful, and I encourage other people to do it. That's why we do this. That's why we do these meditations. Every day, going on 6 straight years. Every day, 7 days a week without fail. That's why we do them. Regularly practice meditation, even when you don't feel like it, will help you see how your thoughts impose limits and color your existence. Resistance to meditation are your mental prisons in miniature. It's delicate because you have no practice from the place of really remembering why you're doing it. With some joy and appreciation. You go into it with, oh, I got to do my practice. The practice will eventually clean that resistance out of you. But I don't necessarily feel that's a good thing. That's what happens to people when they have to go to church every Sunday. I'd rather push you away from spiritual practices until you're so hungry for them that you really want to do a practice, rather than give you a sense that you ought to do the practice, or that you're a bad person if you don't do it, because you'll end up hating the whole business. And in the long run, I don't think it'll be good for you. Spiritual practice is wonderful if you want to do it. If you don't. There are many different forms of meditations, as we all know. And this quote from Swami Chidananda. When you are with someone you love very much, you can talk, and it is pleasant. But the reality is not in the conversation. It is simply in being together. Meditation is the highest form of prayer. In it, you are so close to God that you don't need to say a thing. It's just great to be together. I'll join you in the meditation. I'll return to close us out. Take an easy, slow breath in through the nose. An easy, slow breath out from the mouth. Remain still. When you really relax, you'll be able to notice that there is softest, sweetest presence within you. This amazing presence is what heals you and everyone around you. This energy can bring people who are living in hell to instantly be transported to heaven. Matter of milliseconds. Let go of being right about things. This righteous energy makes you so hard. Find what softens you and discover how good it feels to be connected with this vast, pure, sweet love. You are an unbelievably delicious being. Enjoy your infinite existence in the sweet, soft heart of you. Take this with you for the rest of the day into the evening and night and the following morning. We will return here tonight for the Time for Change call, May 1st, 2024, around 9 or so p.m. Eastern. And we will return here Thursday, May 2nd, 2024, around 3:15 p.m. Eastern to continue our global guided meditation call. Be gentle, kind, generous, and humble with yourself at all times. Be in the highest of the highest high, deepest of the deepest deepest, and purest of the purest purest. Eternal gratitude at all times. And watch the magic begin.